Hey folks! Welcome to Science Quest. In this episode, I'll be talking about little bits of matter, the smallest ingredients that make up everything we can see, feel, hear, and touch. Okay, let's go. Living creatures, non-living objects, stars, planets, everything that we can see in the universe is all made up of the same basic ingredients: protons, neutrons, and electrons. These three particles are what make up atoms. In the center of an atom is the nucleus, and the nucleus is 99.9% of the atom's total mass. So that's where most of the matter stuff is concentrated, in the nucleus. The nucleus is made up of one or more protons, and usually an equal number of neutrons. Protons and neutrons are bound very tightly together by the strong nuclear force, which on really short distances, like 10 to the minus 15th meters, it's much stronger than any of the other fundamental forces. So that's how the nucleus stays together. Protons and neutrons are also made up of quarks. Since I'm trying to keep this video to a watchable length, I'm not going to get into quarks in this episode, but I encourage you to look them up on Wikipedia if you're curious. So that's a quick overview of the nucleus and protons and neutrons. So what about electrons? Well, electrons are pretty weird. Electrons are considered a true point particle, meaning it's just an electron, no quarks or anything else. But they also exhibit properties of waves, and this is called wave-particle duality. So basically what this means is that the electron exists in all allowable points within its orbit, what you could call a standing wave. So you can calculate the probability of finding an electron at a given point within its orbit, but the idea of an electron orbiting the nucleus like a planet orbits the sun isn't quite correct. That's a quick overview of atoms. Alright, well, where do atoms come from? As far as we know, at the beginning of the Big Bang, after the first fractions of a second, when the universe started cooling, the first and the simplest atoms started forming. So that would be hydrogen with one proton, and helium with two protons. All of the elements that we are made up of, all of the heavier elements on the periodic table, those are all formed in stars. In stars, the high temperatures and high pressures cause hydrogen and helium to fuse, or combine, into heavier elements. And when they do this, they release a bunch of energy, which we see as the light from the star. So when stars die and explode, they release all of these heavier elements into the universe. So you can kind of think about it like the universe is made up of different types of building blocks. You have matter building blocks, which are called fermions, so that would be protons, neutrons, electrons, all the particles. And you also have force blocks, which are called bosons. And these blocks keep the matter particles together. But what's even crazier is that all of this stuff I just mentioned, all of this visible matter, everything that we're used to and familiar with in the universe, all of that stuff is actually just less than 1% of the entire mass energy of the universe. So everything that we're familiar with and made up of is actually just the beginning to what the entire universe holds. So I'll leave it there for now. I encourage you to look up stuff on Wikipedia if you're interested in more information, or please ask me a question in the comments below. So thanks for watching, and please subscribe.